Hello inmates and welcome to the cellblock Scorch week 112B. This is Bones and I'm recording as the winner of this week's Scorch. This week's prompt was given by Red, and it was, and that's when I stabbed him with a popsicle stick. I knew what character I wanted to write this about immediately. It fits so well with one of my guys. They're part of a larger universe, but this is the first time I'm reading a piece for them on the podcast. But I'm going to just jump into it and throw y'all in the deep end and explain the context afterwards. This piece is called Provocation. Why are you always coming back here? Asher gave Leofric an absolutely affronted look. Coming back? Like he had a choice in the matter? I would be long gone if you'd let me, he snapped. You're the one who keeps bringing me back. Back alive? Yes, because you have to pay your debt, Leofric explained with that irritating, endless well of patience way that he had. But you're the one who keeps doing things to get dragged back here. Or you could just not drag me back, Asher suggested, sneering. It's not like I did something wrong. You stabbed someone, Asher, the necromancer sighed. I'm Maria now, thanks to you, Leo. Asher affected a woman's voice, which was somewhat comical since he was speaking through a woman's voice box, and gestured emphatically to the body he was now inhabiting. And I didn't even use a knife or anything. It was more of a poke. You know that I go by Benjamin now, Leo responded without even the slightest hint of remorse at Asher's predicament. But that's not the point. This isn't like old times. If you injure someone now, you have to pay for their treatment. You're only increasing your debt. Ridiculous, really, Asher muttered. It's not my fault if someone can't defend themselves, and I'm giving you business. You should be glad. The question here is why? You've gone almost a year without injuring anyone. Why would you suddenly stab that woman with a popsicle stick? Leo looked so disgustingly concerned that Asher almost retched. It was just a poke. And what other choice did I have? We were at a kid's soccer game. There wasn't anything else to stab her with. I wasn't asking why you used a popsicle stick. I was asking why you stabbed her in the first place. Why is that important? I wanted to. Despite Asher's nonchalant response, Leo just continued staring with those disgustingly earnest eyes. If you must know, she provoked me. How does someone even provoke someone else to stab them with a popsicle stick? Leo sighed, looking more tired and put upon than anything. He'd been dealing with this madman for over a century at this point, and he could still never understand him. It's your fault, really. And hers. He gestured again to the body he was using. You see, she apparently made the best brownies in town before she died, but she never wrote down the recipe, and I don't know it, of course, but there was a bake sale a few weeks ago, and Helen kept making comments about my famous brownies, so I had to make brownies, which I've never done before, so I enlisted the help of the children. Asher paused for a moment, thinking, before saying, it's probably a little bit their fault, too. I don't think brownies have glitter in them, usually, but they seemed edible at least. I've seen you eat a live lizard. And it was delicious, Asher agreed, without seeming to realize that this was supposed to be an insult to his tastes. But I don't see why that's important. The point is that I can't make brownies like Maria, and Helen has been making comments about it since then. And then Leo sighed, still not sure where this was going, but also grudgingly a little proud of his psychopathic friend for holding off so long on the stabbing thing. We were at Charles's soccer game, my oldest son. Maria's oldest son, Leo corrected. My oldest son, Asher sneered in response, who is the best player on his team. And while we were there, the opposing team clearly cheated to get one past him. And of course it was Helen's kid who did it. Then we were having after-game treats, popsicles, and of course Helen comes over and starts gloating about how her kid had got one past Charles, which didn't happen fairly, by the way, and there was your stupid voice in my head talking about debt stuff, so I was going to walk away, and then she made a comment about the brownies. And that's why, Leo sighed. And that's when I stabbed her with a popsicle stick. Asher nodded factually. She didn't even bleed that much. You couldn't even fill a shot glass with the blood she lost. Leo shuddered at the idea of bodily fluids in drinking vessels, but decided to let it go. Asher was much better than he used to be, and there wasn't much more he could reasonably ask for at this point.
Hello, my name is Red, and I was the judge for week 112B of the cellblock Scorch. The prompt I gave was, and that's when I stabbed him with a popsicle stick, as I'm sure you've heard today. I got 3 really fun pieces for this. One was a rewrite of the song The Cellblock Tango from Chicago, which is really fun to read, and you should give it a shot. Some fun switching around with the lyrics. A pretty good time. And then I got 2 more Scorches, so I got 3 Scorches this week. Revs is really nice. It's funny and really short. But Bones brought back a reoccurring character, Asher, my beloved. And it's just it's a fun piece, and I feel like it uses the prompt really well. You know, who doesn't love a soccer mom stabbing someone at their kid's soccer game, especially when they're possessing that soccer mom's corpse? Yeah. Little dark, mostly funny. And that's the best type of comedy, if you ask me. But that's why Bones won this week. I really enjoyed all the other pieces, but Bones just hit it out of the park for me, and I really enjoyed it. And that's all there is to say. Thanks for listening, and I'll let you go back to Bones now.
Okay, so these are my loves, Leofric, or Ben, and Asher, who has gone by many names, mostly against his will. There's a piece on the Patreon for week 101 that gives a bit more of the background here, but I will give y'all the cliff notes. Ben is a necromancer. He works at a hospital that has boasted a business model of not letting the bills for dead family members go to their living ones. Ostensibly, they forgive medical debt if they can't save the patient, but actually what happens is that they use their necromancers to resurrect the dead and to have them pay off their own debt by working. Asher is not one of these people. Kind of. He's an evil sorcerer from the Dark Ages. He was like a really bad dude for fun and profit. And he was actually the first person who Ben brought back to life for the purpose of collecting a debt of just 5 gold coins, to which Asher laughed and burned down the place and was rather ungrateful, as you can imagine. the cost of which was then added to his debt by Karak, who is the person who now owns the hospital. The first time it was in his own body, but Asher became the first person who'd been supplanted into someone else's dead body also, and he kind of messed that up, and now their souls are linked, which is why we are now in modern times, and Ben is not dead, even though he also has not been keeping himself alive on purpose. He's just not dead. Can't die until Asher does, and Asher's got a lot of debt now. But anyway, they keep bringing Asher back, and it's probably not advisable. They used to keep him locked away, but he was such a menace, and he finally convinced them to let him out. And they found out that putting him in charge of children is actually one of the only ways that he gets a bit better. So they've been supplanting him into people with children and sending him home as if that person didn't die. And it's all very sketchy. But now Asher has a bunch of adopted children and is reluctantly getting morality driven into his skull. I have a bunch more of pieces focusing on these two coming up both on the Patreon and on the pod, so look out for those. On Patreon, it's labeled Pay Up, and if you liked this interaction, you can find more up there already. I think that's all I have to say about this piece, so onto the prompt. The prompt I gave for 113B was, "Those aren't doctors, they're mechanics." I actually think this was inspired by, or maybe even a quote from One Piece, Drum Island, where Chopper was picked up by the crew, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, it's just like a really potentially creepy and awful thing to realize. Like, I wanted to know what circumstances everyone would put their people into, where they would be expecting doctors and get mechanics instead. And there are just so many awful ways for that to go that I wanted to see. And yeah, that's all I've got for you today, so keep that fire burning.
The Cellblock Scorch is a production of Stellacore, an independent group of nerds sharing their obsessions with the world. Links to all our projects, including Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Patreon, and Ko-Fi, can be found on our Linktree, posted in each episode description. Follow us on Tumblr or Instagram to see the prompt of the day before the episode drops, and a quote from each Scorch the day after. If you would like to support our creative endeavors, you can give a one-time tip to the Ko-Fi of the writer of your favorite Scorches, or check out our Patreon. There, you can access the Scorches and episode transcripts for free, or sign up for Spark level support for $5 a month to gain access to our embers as well.